Hi, I'm John and welcome back to my Lair of Action Figures, where I'll be talking and reviewing action figures from different manufacturers. Today we're going to be continuing with our Plan B Toys or Resaurus. So of course this is going to be Special Force Mission Wave 2 of figures. Now it's under Plan B Toys due to the fact that sadly Plan B Toys Resaurus went bankrupt and the owners, the people who were in charge of Resaurus Toys, some of the people who were behind the designs of these figures decided to do a company called Plan B Toys, and that's the reason why it was called Plan B Toys and wanted to continue with these figures. So of course they did believe in that maybe with a bit of luck we were going to get some G.I. Joe figures in 6-inch scale and that these would match out. Now, let's have a closer look at the wave 2 of the figures. So we're going to be starting, I would say I'm going to go in order of favorite, but no, I'm going to go in this order and I'll be talking about the figures, showing them off, and then we're going to be having a look at how they look, how the articulation works, and what do I think about them, and what are my final thoughts about it, and do they have a collectible item. As you can see, so here we have our mission 2. Now this is something that I like that they did. They decided to go with a lot more different military figures. So here we have a Ranger 75 who's really cool, reminds me the one that 21st Century Toys did, and gives me a bit of a vibe of Repeater. For anybody who's a fan of G.I. Joe will know which figure I'm talking about in 3 3/4 inch figures in the Real American Hero line. As you can see, you have a bit of a description. He comes with an M16A M203 grenade launcher. He has a light, a little light flashlight. He has a belt. He has some cord to go on to do some wappling. He does have the Succom pistol with the silencer, and as I said, the M16A2. So yes, this is one of my favorite, but I must say my favorite one is going to be this guy over here. So this is a US Navy SEAL Team 6 Red Cell. The reason why I love this figure, he reminds me so much of one of the Dragon figures that I got. Really loved him. His name was Steve. I think I have one mint box that I got from Cyber Hobby because it came with extra Zippo with a Navy SEAL logo on and a SEAL baseball cap, and I really love the design of this figure. I mean, look at it. This screams tier 1 operator. This is what Hasbro should be doing as kind of figures, with giving us, of course, weapons, secondary weapon. Of course, he has a US MK23 Succom pistol, due to the fact that those were the ones. He does have a MP5 SD3 with the silencer. He has some flashbang grenades. Of course, I mean, this is what we want. You have some chest harness with the ballistic vest. You have the ammo clips over here. I mean, this figure is really fantastic. And of course, if you see with balaclava on, you can be getting some vibes of a beachhead a bit over here. But I really, really love this figure. So afterwards, we're going to be having a look at another Navy SEAL. Now, of course, this is one that I like. It's not one of my favorite ones, but what I do find very interesting with this figure is that it's, of course, basically the same bodies, but as you will see later on. But over here, you can really see that they did something of cool because he's all geared up in black. So if you want to do like a night ops version of your figures, interchange the heads on them, put some night goggles on them, that would really work pretty well. And this is, of course, the US Night Ops Diver, so you have a bit of an explanation about it. You have the different things and what you get, of course, of gear, weapons. Of course, you get the fins, you get his system. He has an MP5, would make sense. He has a silencer, the Succom pistol, and he has a mine, who's a very nice, neat addition that we didn't see in any of the other sets previously. So really nice figure over here. Then afterwards, we got this guy over here. So this is a mercenary gunman. So of course, you can see you get 2 heads. He has a flak vest. Oh, let's have a closer look at the figure. Of course, you have a bit of his bio, maybe a bit could be and nowadays could be a bit more controversial. We'll be talking about the problems that they had, also controversial, but that's going to be for a later video. But as you can see, he comes with a FAMAS, he comes with a 4 rifle also. He has an ammo crate, who's really fantastic. He has a pistol and 2 grenades. I mean, this is really this kind of cool figure. If you buy a few of them, you should interchange the heads. This also reminds me the one from 21st Century Toys, the gangster figure who came out in the SWAT with this balaclava. I have also purchased a few of them to use them as bad guys for my pictures or my dioramas. But that would be for another video when we're going to be talking. But I like the fact that we got some bad guys and that we will be able to interact with the figures and have some bad guys to go with it. Now we're going to be going on to the Delta Force guy. Of course, who doesn't like Delta Force? I mean, in the 80s with Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin, this is something of really great. So we're going also on a 2-tone different camo. Now this I find very interesting because he has the 3-color desert, and on his pants he still has the chocolate chip. So this is something of really interesting. So of course, there's a bit of an explanation about Delta Force. You have the different weapons that he has. Of course, the M4 with the light on, with the light in front, with the scope, who is a really cool weapon. You have the flashlight, who comes and clips on over there. You have the water canister, you have the radio, and you have the SIG P228. So this really gives you a great figure. The fact that he has the goggles on, he's masked with a scarf, I mean with the bony hat. This is really also a really great figure. Really love this figure over here. Now we're going to be finishing by one of the most interesting figures that was in Wave 2, and it's the Combat Medic. Now, of course, as you can look, you would get a bit straight away some vibes of being the Doc from G.I. Joe, because of course African American. But I like the fact that you get an extra head who's a bit battle damage, and he already got some gas on him, and he seems to be hit in the head, or maybe a bit of a problem with the eye. But as you can see, the figure does come with some pretty interesting gear, as you can see. Of course, you have the combat vest. Of course, these vests come off. But I really like the idea of having this kind of dog. The stretcher is really cool. With the tissue fabric, you have also some gas. You have, of course, a bag of fluids for him, who's really cool. And you have, of course, the M4 rifle. And you should also have, you don't see it over here, you have the P228 from Sig Sauer. So, I mean, it's over here on the bottom. So, I mean, this is really, it's really hard to say because with the light, the way it's shining, but it's over here. And I really think they did a fantastic job with Wave 4. Now let's dive into them and have a closer look at them. Now let's have a look at what we get in the box. Now, before I'm going to go any forward, this part is going to be a bit redundant because this is going to be put in every one of the videos after I review. Then afterwards I will be talking about what I think about the figures. Of course, do they have any valuable for the collectible point of view, and my final thoughts about the figure. But this one's going to be the one where I'm going to be talking about the articulations and how great they are and how do they look and how compatible they are with the G.I. Joe Classified series. So, of course, here is one of the figures that I have. Of course, you can see the knife goes into the side over here. Of course, they do have a bit of a weird position due to the fact that the articulation over here is pretty limited on in the parts of the hips. Of course, the legs move. They don't have double joints over here. Of course, you have ankle movement, so that gives you a bit of flexibility. Of course, you have the arm that goes, the hands that spin. Of course, you have elbows over here, the elbow turns, the forearm who turns. So it can give you some good ideas for the possibility. As you can see, I hooked a small grenade in here. So this comes out. So you can put a grenade over here, or you can put the lamp. I think the small lamp goes also over there. And of course you can see the head does spin. You also have an articulation around here, so he spins also. So it is a pretty basic figure. What is also very interesting and something that Hasbro should take note, the harnesses, all of these harnesses come off. So you can pop them out over here, if I'm not mistaken. No, of course, it doesn't work when you want to show it, but it does pop out. I know that I have another one over here that I will be showing about. Also, this is one of the Navy divers, as you can see. So you do have, of course, the mask that goes over it. And if you look, you can see that they have put in here, if you can see, there's some glass. So, I mean, it's not even hollow. So if you really think about it, they really did a fantastic job on these figures, if you really think about it, for a figure that came out 25 years ago. I mean, this is pretty impressive for that period of time. Oh, right, that one didn't pop in properly. And as you can see, they're not falling apart. Well, there's some stuff that does get unglued, and we'll be talking about some of the issues at a further date. But as you can see, they look pretty neat, and you can gear them up with any kind of rifle. Let's do this also, so then you can see. So the rifles, compared to Hasbro, these are made out of solid plastic. For anybody who knows 21st Century Toys, the weapons do feel a lot like 21st Century Toy figures. They are this kind of solid build. As you can see, the figure looks pretty neat. Let's dive into another figure over here. As you can see, this is the one from the sniper. Now I have, of course, the Navy SEAL. Now this is the part that I find very interesting, because as you can see, you can build up your army of special forces. So this is something that is really great. If you want to do it, you should interchange. Whoops, that came unglued. You should remove the head, then you should pop in another head. As simple as this. So if you want to put this head over here, as you can see, it pops in, and there we are. You have, oops, didn't fit in properly here. There we are. And the head's in, as you can see, and you have a new soldier. So this is something that I find very interesting. As I was talking, here we have another vest. So of course, this is a bit the one who reminds me a bit the one that Snake Eyes has, the one I did a review of, the one with Timber. As you can see, you have the pouches for the MP5, or you can also use the chargers, are a bit similar for the Uzi. So of course, you see it unclips over here. And the only thing you need to do is come over here, pop this on the figure. Oops, come on. Put it in over here. And then lift this up, clips it in. And there we are. We have our figure all ready to go to battle. Let's put this head back on. And there we are. We have the chest harness, we have the gun, also the a bit stuck because it's been in there for many years and sitting in storage. So as you can see, you can really customize them to your likeness. You see, I did a medic over here. Here we have the CQB one, of course, the little flashlight over here. I mean, when you see the details on these accessories, I was talking about the rifles. I mean, paint job. I mean, for something that came out such a long time ago, it really looks neat. And like I said, they're not bendable plastic. So we really have some great stuff. As I was talking, like the radio has some pretty well details. I guess you can see them here. This works. I mean, all of this is really fantastic. The ammo crate have the writing on it. I mean, they really did something fantastic on these figures. Of course, you have also the binoculars, you have the flippers. I mean, so much possibilities. Now, of course, I will not go out without showing you this badass figure, because, I mean, he really has this hard look on his face. And as you can see, you can really pose him in. Also, this is another one of the holsters. But, of course, you will see that many figures we will use the same accessories. So you have 3 different accessories, if we can say like this. These are the 3 different accessories that you will get. But as you can see, the vests are interchangeable. You can build up your figure, customize it in any kind of which way you want, and they really do hold up pretty well. We'll be giving them a little spin at the end when I'm going to be telling you about what do I think about it, about these figures with the boxes. So as you can see, they really hold up pretty well on this thing. Here we have the green beret. So of course, yes, I do admit that the legs, the articulation of the legs are weird, but now the big question is how compatible they are with the G.I. Joe classified line. Well, here is my Spirit holding the M203 that will be going at a later date on Leatherneck. Well, I have a few of those, so I'm not going to be complaining, but as you can see, they work pretty well. They're pretty well compatible. Now let's see, I also have Stalker over here. You see, you can really put the rifle in this kind of more tactical grip, giving him this way of shooting, aiming. I mean, these weapons are really fantastic and work pretty well on the classified figures, and as you can see, they match pretty well. Now, the question is, how good these figures mix up with the classified? As you can see, they're a bit taller for the classified series figures, but like in real life, humans don't have always the same size. Like I said, the down point is this part over here. I know I'm repeating myself, but as you can see, we do have some really great compatibility, and I will be also putting it at the end, showing it off on the review when I have the figures posted, when we'll be giving the final value of these figures and what do I think about it. As you can see, I have collected a lot of gear from these guys. So you have the maps, you have the night visions, you have a ton of grenades, you have the water bottles, who are also a nice add. And I mean, for the time, I mean, you can even remove the top of it. I mean, for something who came out so long time ago, and when you see what Hasbro is giving us for certain of these, yeah, it's a bit of a disgrace. So this is where I keep all the different hands. Of course, I have also my bag of heads that I have over here. So you can see all the different heads, the way you can interact. So, of course, this is not all figures from Wave 1. There's a bit of a mix on these figures. So as you can see, they have some pretty cool things. Now, let's go into my final thoughts and tell you if I think these items do have a collectible point of view, and we will see that. So, what are my final thoughts for these figures, and do I think they have a collectible value? So let's start by the collectible value. Yes, these figures do have a collectible value. They were much researched due to the fact that there was a lot more diversity in the figures that came out, because we had a Ranger, we had a Navy SEALs Team 6, we have a Delta Force operator, we also have a mercenary gunman who puts it as a very interesting character to have as an enemy. We also have the 5th Special Force group of medics, and we also have a US Navy SEAL Night Ops diver. So there's some really great figures that came out for it. And yes, like I said, these figures were pretty well researched by collectors. They started to become pretty popular. Now, there's not really a suggest retail price for these figures. I think when they came out, they were about $10 to $15 a piece, and you could only find them in certain shops in the US. And of course, like I said, I was the importer for Europe, so you could find them in some different shops across Europe when they were sold in it. They were not the most successful due to the fact that there was not much 6-inch figures, but they were highly appreciated by the people who purchased them, and they are, like I said, pretty well researched. Now, what do I think about the Plan B Toys, even if it's Resaurus, because it's the same kind of company, we're not going to go into it. I believe that Wave 2 is way better than Wave 1, due to the fact, like I said, there's so much more different military branches, so that was really a great positive, and this is why I'm giving this set a 9.5, especially one of my favorite ones, who's the Navy SEAL Team 6. I've already explained it in the video why I like this figure. So that's going to be it for the review of these figures. If you like this video, please leave a like, share, comment in the section, subscribe to the channel, it helps a lot. You can go and check out my Facebook page and my Instagram page where I post pictures, teasers, and other pictures that I like to take. Until then, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!